Importance of career orientation in the post-COVID era, a discussion. We have the kind presence of our Secretary General and CEO, Mrs. Bhagati Bhattacharya. Our esteemed panelists for today are Mrs. Sonali Sarkar, Senior Principal-Aditya Academy Group of Institutions, and Ms. Deepmala Chowdhury, Career Coach and Founder of BMC Global Careers. Our esteemed Also joining us and supporting us today, we have Mrs. Noni Khundar, co-founder and principal of Akshar School, who is one of the key ideators of today's session, and teachers and students of Akshar School and Aditya Academy Senior Secondary School. Calcutta Business School is a residential institute. Keeping in mind the need of management education in Eastern India and being an autonomous institution, it offers AICTE approved PGDM courses designed as per the latest industry needs by an expert team of faculty and advisors comprising of both renowned academicians and industry leaders, and has recently introduced a BBA in Business Analytics course in association with Lookout. And representing Calcutta Business School today as moderator is Ms. Pragya Biswas, Chief Placement Officer. And we thank you all for joining us today. I now request Bhagati ma'am to please say a few words to set the tone for the day and welcome everyone.
A very good evening to everyone present and welcome from Shiksha-Yatan Foundation and Calcutta Business School. Good evening to our esteemed panelist, Mrs. Sarkar, Principal of Aditya Academy, and our moderator, Pragya Biswas, and our chief coach, who has also joined, Deepmala Chowdhury. Thank you so much for joining us. To just brief you a little bit about our group. As you know, our group is about 102 years old, and our group tries to cater to empowering people in different ways. And we have taken up this webinar series where we feel that, through webinar, you can reach out to many people and using technology in the best possible way. And we've been doing this from last 1 year. And people have been very successful in terms of, learning through this system. This time, we have also started with school students. As you know, at business school, we had only a PGDM program, but now we also have, undergraduate program where we have introduced BBA. And that is why we feel that even school students, they need to know what career to choose, because at times we are not very sure. And so we have organized this. We would also like you to understand, what is counseling and what is coaching, because definitely there is a difference. And today our panelists will tell you that why you need counseling and when you need coaching also. So I will not be elaborating on this. They are there to tell you. Please ask questions, whatever you want to. And I would also like to inform all of you that we have started as an initiative of Shiksha-Yatan Foundation of finishing school for school students and also for college students. So if you could also spread this for initial classes, which we have, these are all free classes, and because we would like to help out students with this finishing school so they are ready, especially if they are sitting for competitive exam at the if they are graduated and they're sitting for competitive exams. We have different classes which are held for the students, and even for school students who are passing out class 12, we are also having classes for them. So you can look into our website, that will give you more information. Thank you so much. Welcome once again. You cannot be heard, Madhushree?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. May I now introduce you to our moderator for the day, Ms. Pragya Viswas. Ms. Pragya is presently the Chief Placement Officer of Calcutta Business School. She has 12 years of experience in the field of training, placements, and corporate relations. She has worked with the majority of these schools and educational institutions in West Bengal, and she is also a certified clinical hypnotherapist and a neurocognitive expert. Over to you, Pragya ma'am.
Thanks a lot, Madhushri. It's really nice to have an introduction like this. And before we take over with the main section of the session, wherein we would be discussing on the theme of today's session, I would request you to kindly introduce the chief speakers of the session so that we can accordingly take it forward. So, Madhushri, I would request you if you can kindly introduce the speakers for today's session, and then we can take it forward accordingly.
Sure. So our first panelist for the day is Mrs. Sonali Sarkar. She is the principal of Aditya Academy Group of Schools. She is a postgraduate in life sciences with a major in biochemistry with over 25 years of qualitative experience in teaching and administration with top branded schools in India and Nepal. She started her career as a primary school teacher way back in 1996 and served many reputed schools in Kolkata and Nepal before becoming the headmistress in the year 2006 and subsequently becoming principal in the year 2013. Presently, she is leading Aditya Academy Group of Schools as senior principal. Throughout her career, she has led the diverse group of students by motivating and leading them to achieve their goals. She has exceptional teaching skills and ensures her students remain active and happy while helping them raise overall achievements. She has the skills to encourage both students and teachers to put learning at the center of their daily activities with a responsive and supportive attitude. Above all, she is a proud recipient of Aparajita 2020 Award by Sanmag in New Shine Academia category. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, please say a few words.
Thank you, Madhushri, for the introduction. And I'm really glad to be present here and share my thoughts on this platform. Thank you.
Okay. And our second panelist for the day is Ms. Deepmala Chowdhury. She has created a signature with her passionate blend of strategic business planning and marketing and branding, and a successful track record for achieving improved business performance. She is an innovative leader with proven ability to drive business growth through collaborative and partnering initiatives. Her operational excellence and vision-driven professional approach with 15 years of experience in building successful results and oriented in external and internal communications and marketing programs has led her to many places. She is a career coach and founder of DMC Global Careers. She is former Joint Director, Admission and Outreach, OP Jindal Global University, and has also worked at the Times of India newspaper in education. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Madhushri, for such a wonderful introduction. I would like to introduce myself as a person who has primarily as a director of an institute where I have been speaking and interacting with more than 1,000 students in the sphere of 5 years. And I hope my experience as a director for admissions and would help here to the students who are sitting, which I presume many of you are from school, to understand how best you can plan your career, irrespective of the fact that, yes, we are in a post-COVID era. But even if we leave that aside, it's very important for the young generation today to be sure about their future, be future ready. So career counseling is one of the career counseling or career orientation here would be as one of a part of your purpose of life. And I hope whatever experience I have gained, I can help and share with you, and it is beneficial for you. Thank you so much, Calcutta Business School, Bratati ma'am, and all the panelists here to give me this opportunity to share my thoughts. Looking forward to an engaging session.
And now we go back to Pragya ma'am, please.
Thank you, Madhushri. Before we start off with the session, let me tell you that yes, career has always been a very prior matter of importance to any child's life, to wherein the main decision starts wherein when they pass out their 12th. So that's the time when they have to take a proper decision to plan their career and ultimately to be successful. So on this note, since career orientation, career planning has been such an important and it plays a pivot role in any child's life, we would try to keep this session on more on an interactive mode so that the discussion happens in a more interesting and engaging manner rather than keeping it in a monologue way. So I will be putting forward questions to the panelists one by one, and then accordingly we will glide through the entire session. So since we know that this pandemic has affected the industries, these sectors in a very different manner, wherein there has been a paradigm shift across the industries and across the sectors that we all are working, we all are present. My first question to Sonali ma'am, that ma'am, as you know that due to this hit of pandemic, there has been a paradigm shift, as I had been telling. So according to you, what are the changes in the industry specifications and expectations due to this pandemic? How the industry has responded post this hit of pandemic, and what are the changes that have happened in the specifications and expectations of the industries across the sectors? If you can kindly throw some light.
Yes, you are absolutely right, Pragya ma'am. So this COVID-19 actually has created the largest disruption in education system, you can say in the history, affecting almost 1.6 billion learners across the globe. So the world has never faced this kind of level of interruption in the education. So it has also resulted in the closure of many schools, and that has led to interrupted learning, then poor nutrition, gaps in the childcare, growing concerns about the mental health, trauma and safety, as well as social isolation, and many more to say, in fact. So with the onset of COVID, one thing became crystal clear, that the school does more than just focusing on academics. Educators do more than just stimulating the mind. They provide critical social, emotional support and safety, which is very important. Sorry. And now after almost 2 years, we see education system has undergone a complete paradigm shift from physical classes to fully digital classrooms and remote learning. So new ways of teaching emerged. EdTech platforms have come forward. Information technology has brought about some sparkling revolution in the education sector. So now the physical space doesn't matter actually. Now the classrooms, new classrooms could be created, and educators across the world could be invited to teach through Zoom on any other platform, as we are all together right now, we can see. So on a lighter note, one of my friends commented, with remote education, all students have become first benchers. So teachers can see everybody's face and interact with them. And so there are no backbenchers anymore now.
So, ma'am, as you have rightly pointed out, that there has been a disruption in the education sector, and wherein, as you said, that educators are no more limited to stimulating minds. They have come out to be more beyond that stereotypic thought process that we used to have pre-pandemic. So what do you think that we have been, obviously, since the entire shift has happened, we have moved from physical classes to the online platforms, virtual platforms. You being an educator and leading the school, do you think the challenges, everyone, right, from the students, from the parents to the professionals, everyone has faced a challenge to adapt themselves with the platforms? So how your school, or how you being an educator think that how you have adapted to this shift that has happened from physical to online?
Yeah, definitely. There are lots of training sessions which we had when we started with the system online. So it was completely a new platform from everybody. Now it's overnight. In fact, we had to change from a physical mode to a digital mode. It was a challenge, but again, we thought education should go on. So we believe in that, and then we took it as a challenge. All the teachers took it as a challenge. Students took it as a challenge, and it was the entire sector, education sector, which had been into, there was a lot of learning process which happened, and that definitely has helped to carry on with the education sector. So, but still we miss school. Definitely all the students also miss school. We would like to come back to school as soon as the COVID situation gets better. So the things, it's always a learning process for all the teachers, and we all are into learning. We are still learning, and we will be going on.
Very, very true, very true. So we as the educators and teachers are on the learning phase, and the people whom we are facilitating, they are also on their learning phase, and we actually reciprocate one fact to them, that it is either you adapt yourself with the changing times, or you have to get extinct.
Absolutely.
That's how. So ma'am, my next question to you, since we are discussing on career orientation, career planning, and obviously planning career is a very important part in any child's life, as I have stated earlier only. So my question to you is, how to plan to select a career of your choice? For example, if I'm a student, how should I plan to select the career of my choice?
Yes, Pragya, before I come to this question, I would like to focus on one common question I'm sure each one of us have faced several times during our childhood. A question which all of us have been hearing a dozen of times before. That's, what do you want to become after, what do you want to do after school?
True.
So this question, each one of us, those who are hearing, those who are listening to this platform, so every one of us have faced this question: what do you want to do after school? But now I have concluded that this most frequently questioned to generation of kids have actually no meaning. This question is not helpful, neither it is inspiring, or it is not helping in finding out the path, but it makes us more stressful, and sometimes, it leaves us puzzled also. And why am I saying so? It leaves that this is stressful because many researchers have supported this idea that most of you do not know what you want to do after school. And why should you? With no experience about the world after school, there are endless number of career choices which you need to experience and explore before you could make up your mind. Another thing which we do know that it is with the fast changing world, the jobs which emerges for the which will emerge for Gen Z, say after 5 years, do not exist anymore, do not exist still. So why do we even bother to answer this question?
True.
What do you want to do after school?
Very true.
So now researchers says that 65% of the graduates do not have the employability skill sets required for today's world. So we need to give a serious thought about it. What and how relevant is our education system for the Gen Z? Are we preparing the children to the future, to be future ready in the terms of their careers? This is a question which require a serious thought. So it is necessary for us to understand that career doesn't mean only a job. It has several dimensions as personal, social, education, as well as occupational. The mistake which we often do when we talk about career, we just think about the job. That's why we are not able to make ourselves ready for the career. So whenever we are preparing a child for their career, we have to think about their personal, social, educational, as well as occupational development. So what is required is career readiness for the students before they leave the school, and so that we make them ready for the future. So how do we prepare the children to be ready for the future? First thing, which I think the first step is self-awareness. So what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What am I good at? What are the challenges which I'm facing? What are my interests and what makes me happy? These are the questions which the child needs to ask himself and at a very early stage, and also try to find out the answers for this. Next is this awareness about the world of work. What education degree which is required for a particular job, which skills are needed for a particular job, which are the skills which will be needed for the years to come. This is the second thing. And next, we should be aware of the awareness of the information. So where do we get those information from? What are the resources for the information? Then comes exploration. So you can select a path by understanding your interest, your aptitude, values, as well as you can say the financial resources. It is also important that you check from the resources what skills are needed to be developed also. Then the final part is the decision making. So after exploration and analysis, we need to make our own choices, which need not be biased by the parents, teachers, or your friends' choice. The final decision should be your own. You should always keep 3 plans in place. Even if you fail in one, you still have 2 more to go. So once you choose your career, you are born to face challenges and obstacles. And to overcome that, you need to make more consistent effort for being successful and adjusting to the career.
Very true, ma'am. As you stated that to understand, to know about your strengths, your weakness, which in the management language we talk about as SWOT analysis. Do a SWOT analysis and then you explore the professional alignment of the opportunities that are there with your strengths and all. So with this, you also talked about the challenges that we face while doing this. So taking a tune on this, I would put forward one question to our second panelist, Ms. Deepmala. Ma'am, as Sonali ma'am was talking about the SWOT analysis needed to be done, and then you go about to understand what are the professional opportunities that are there in the market, and then you do a comparison and understand wherein you fit in. So she also talked about the challenges. So my question to you, what are the challenges a student face or a professional we face while choosing a career option for ourselves? So what are the challenges we face? So she was talking about challenges. So my question to you.
Yes. Ma'am, Sarkar didn't only talk about the challenges, actually she also gave solution. So she's practically covered many parts which, I wanted to talk about. So thank you, ma'am, for doing that. And that really makes me feel very optimistic, for the simple reason being, at this point of time, when we know that the future is uncertain, when we know that there is so much of disruption, we are not sure about how the technology is going to play a role further, because we all are now driven by technology, by automation, and the whole premise that we are now in a Zoom platform and talking and not face to face, which is actually the need of the hour when we talk about career counseling or career path. So when we talk about, since I'm a career coach, now what I mean by a career coach is somebody who helps student in getting the relevant people who can help them answer all these questions, which has been posed here in the panel, and many other questions. Like one of the questions which we talk about is the uncertainty in terms of jobs. Many of the jobs which are now present will be obsolete in less than 10 years. Then how to prepare yourself? So I think today Calcutta Business School has actually also set the context right by getting a school principal, an educationist, who was actually dealing with the young minds, a career coach, who I represent a team of industry professional, a psychologist, a team of people who will be working with the students in terms of deciding the career, and of course a university. I also would be happy if you would have had a parent representation, because I believe everybody today plays an important role in facilitating the student in getting their right career choice. We always have this misconception thinking that parents play a hindrance. Not in most of the cases. And this I'm telling you from my experience working for 5 years closely with parents and students when they came to discuss their career path in the college. The recent trend with many parents are that they are giving the entire battle to the students, and they say that whatever my child says and whatever she's planning, we'll go ahead with that. That again is not a very right approach, because I think everybody plays a pivotal role in facilitating the student, but at the end of the day, it's the student who will make the choice. If we talk about uncertainties, yes, there are uncertainties, but we also have to realize that, there is something which is constant, which is change. Change is a constant. We all need to, at this point of time, adapt to the change and be ready to be able to prepare ourselves being life ready. So yes, if you talk about the challenges are many, but there are a lot of optimism too. I will deal this entire session in a little different way. I will primarily focus on not what you can do, but as to how you can do. Because when we talk about what are the career options, how to go about it, now there are a lot of information. In the age of technology, in the age now, there are information overflowing. So I do need to sit here and tell you that after class 10, there are 3 broad divisions like science, commerce, and humanities. And there are various other popular vocational courses coming up which you can take. This is there. What are the subjects available? Are there? What are the eligibility? Is there? Now, it is important that what is the choice which the students are taking. When we talk about students here, we are talking about a range of students. I believe we have students from school students here, college students here, and maybe some industry professionals who are already working and struggling and would want to know how to address the current situation. So I will give you a generic solution, but at the end of the session, I would want all of you to at least take away something from here which you can work forward. I believe this is basically just a beginning of a conversation where we have introduced different pillars of the society who can come together to handle this, pandemic or the situation together boldly and prevail. Because we've managed for last 2 years to handle this critical situation, uncertainty, financial crunch, job cuts, people unemployability. If we've handled so much and we're still standing tall, I'm sure we still have time with young minds where we could help them together as to how they can together prepare themselves.
Very true, ma'am. You're absolutely right. And also, one more thing, that the way you have told that, yes, Sonali ma'am has also stated this, that the jobs that were existing in the past are no more existing at this point of time. And again, today, the jobs that that are existing will not be there down the line 10 years. So every day, changes are happening across the sectors, across the industries. So taking this tune, my question to Sonali ma'am, what are the actions students should take to remain aligned with the changing industry expectations? Because every 3 years or 5 years, the industry expectations are changing, and they are changing with time, with the changes that are happening across the sectors with respect to technology disruption, with respect to their automation. So what these students should do to remain aligned with the changing industry expectations, ma'am?
Yes, Pragya, I'll take it forward from Deepmala ma'am also. What she spoke was absolutely correct. Yes, definitely there are changes in the job world, and we will not find the jobs which we are getting to see now after 10 years. So that is what is called, now we have to prepare the children for the careers. So that the role is more for in the education system. If you say, I would focus what the schools should do. So that we can keep the students aligned with the changes which is coming up so fast. And so it's for the schools, and along with the academic progress, the school should focus on developing the 21st century skills. And the most important skill for today's world is communication skill, which will include listening, writing, speaking. Then it comes the digital literacy. And we all have already entered the digital world, as you know. So digital literacy has become the part and parcel of our life. So every student should be having this digital literacy as the most important, the learning process, in the learning process. Next, we can talk about collaboration, which is again, while working in the team, this is very important to how to work in a team, how to adjust, how to have an interpersonal skills, willingness to learn, do things on time, completion of assignments, then taking initiatives. So these are certain things which we have to teach the children right from a very small age in school, so that they also learn it. It's not that it's a separate subject, but it, along with the curriculum, it has to be incorporated in such a way that they keep learning in the process. And once they're ready to leave the school, they're also ready to face the world. So these are the areas where the schools have to improve upon. Another very important thing now, which the children need to be developing, is the critical thinking as well as creativity. These are the two areas, again, we have to give them ample chances to show their creativity, to hone their creativity, as well as to learn thinking out of the box. So there are certain instances and certain ways where how we can teach them how to react or how to think in a different way, which is very much required now in this world of in this changing world. And again, definitely positive attitude and confidence is also required. So that develops as the ways how you teach in the school. So in school, we need to also teach the children to learn to take risk, right? The failures, like if you're taking a risk, means you have to face the failures. So failures, we should not be considered as a means. It should be considered as a means of learning, and it should not be condemned as a sign of incompetency. So recently we have come across in the news that the cutoff marks for getting admission to few colleges is 100%. So the students who have achieved 95% makes him feel like he is a failure, isn't it? So marks are important, but it should not be the sole criteria for being selected for the career of one's choice. And focus should be also given to the competencies. Definitely now the competencies should be focused more upon in the new NEP, the National Education Policy, which is coming up. So these are the areas, competency areas, which have been focused on, and each school has the responsibility to build up these in the students. Then I should also say this: the information support system should be provided in the school. A child who wants to aspire as a radio jockey or ethical hacker, say ethical hacker or a data analyst. So the teachers and the counselors in the school should have information to guide the student which path the child should follow. It should not be that the teacher and the counselors have no knowledge about these areas. So that information support need to be given by the school. The schools should be organizing the career fairs and career counseling as a regular feature, so that we give more exposure to the different careers which are coming up now in future. And definitely there should be more of field trips, so that they get first-hand experiences.
Very, very true. Ma'am, as you talked about the digital literacy, you talked about the information support system, wherein you talked about many unconventional career options that are there, because normally what happens, the parents and the students then only know about the conventional career options, wherein getting into engineering or medical or your management options, but there are so many unconventional career options which actually they are not even aware of, not even their parents. So the information support system that you have talked about, wherein if the educational institution starts this system wherein they can help the students to explore the opportunities that are there, as you told that career is not about just getting a job, because it is more to it. Career is a long-term aspect and job is just a short-term aspect. So in that case, yes, if educational institutions can rightly start upon exploring options, wherein giving them the exposure right from the parents to the students of the career options that are there in the market, and by which they can be successful. So on this note, I would ask Deepmala ma'am, what are the career options available for the students in this post-pandemic era, if I have to talk about?
Okay. Now, as I promised in the beginning of the session, that I am here to tell you how to do things rather than what. So when you talk about the career options, as I said, there are many career options available for students, irrespective of the fact whether there is pandemic or not. If I talk about, since we are talking so much about education, if we talk about teaching, see, only the medium has changed. Teachers are teaching, right? But yes, will this be, they only have just changed the plan. We've now working closely with the technology. So we need to recognize and understand that every job which we are going to do, it will be backed or supported by technology. So technology is the key. Now, to be, whether we should be scared about the fact that artificial intelligence or machine learning, all these new upcoming automation would take away our jobs, not completely. We will work together. Now it is an age where we'll work together with machine. And believe me, the results will be phenomenal. We are seeing this. Something like a platform where people from across the globe can join us. You can get experts from across the globe to come and talk to your students. So you're not restricted to your nearby career counselor to give you information, or not restricted to a career booklet for information. Now, to answer your question, if the children, if you all have a paper and a pen, you can please jot down a couple of names which I'm going to give in terms of website, which you can go through to answer many questions which we've been discussing here. One is siksha.com. It is an online portal which helps students, give them various options in terms of what are the various job opportunities or careers. Then we talk, and there is always how to get into a college, what are the prerequisites, what is an eligibility, what type of careers are there, it's mentioned there. Second, you can jot down, it's mindler.com. This again shares plethora of information, right from giving you an expert career counselor who is going to tell you how to plan your career, to a career guidance portal where you can do career assessment and know exactly what are your skill sets, your aptitudes, your interests, your personality, and most importantly, what you want. Then the third aspect which will be covered are various webinars. So they conduct webinars which is subject specific. So if you want to know about careers in humanities, you will be invited to attend those careers where you get to meet the professors, you get to meet the experts. Then there is another function where you can actually do virtual internship. So when we are talking about the disability of not going out of the house, but still there are options like virtual internship where you get to know the nuances of any career which you want. Now there are two options. You could prepare yourself and not have a career. The option is one, either you have a career by chance, where you take the complete responsibility and you do all the research and do everything on your own. Or second is career by choice, where you get information from the right people, from the right platform, and where you also have hands-on experience, right? Now, to answer the first question, that do we have to pay for everything? No. There are portals, if you can go, instead of going and randomly typing career counseling or what are the new age jobs or what are the new career options, there will be 120 people who will be giving you different aspects and you'll get confused. If you go to YouTube, you will get more than 100 videos on how to choose your career. Please be very cautious as to whom you are listening. So the best option is, if the school, as ma'am very correctly said, school takes this onus and they create a career library or a career lab, where a person like me, I would be more than happy to come and set this up for you. And there is no cost, in certain cases, a very minimal cost if you really want experts to come in and talk. So that's an option where you involve the students to find about different career options, how to go about it, and then have a concrete plan and take all the services which I've spoken to you about. or you create clubs and invite students to do research and find about different career options which will be helpful. So yes, to give you a systematic plan, career counseling should be started as early as class 8, because this is the time when you are getting prepared to choose your first stream selection, and followed by, so class 8 and 9 gives you ample time to understand yourself, to know what are your strengths, what are your weakness, what is your personality, and what are the things which you should consider while choosing a career, because you know about the various career. Now, to answer this, you really don't need an expert. If you really sit with your parents and your teachers and you discuss, like, what are your likes, your dislikes, what are the competitions which you've been participating in so many years, will give you a fair idea about who you are as a person and what are the skills you have. Second is, if you really want to verify it, there are many psychometric tests and stream selectors tests and skill development tests which can help you or give you an indication based on a set of questions as to what is good for you. So this is one way of doing it. A, you can do it yourself by seeing what are the extracurricular activities or how you respond to things. Or B, you take this career assessment test. Second, once you've done it and when you've got a clear idea, okay, I have taken up this test and my personality is like I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert or I'm somebody who would like to take up a job. If I give you as simple as if you want to become a business person, so you have opportunities like you can contact Calcutta Business School. Since you're in the top of my mind, so I'm just telling this. For a young student, they could go and I'm sure contact the admission placement officer of Calcutta Business School and understand what are the undergraduate programs they offer, what is their eligibility, how does a campus look like, what is there to expect from the faculty, what is the future. I'm sure then Pragna can take it forward. So this is one of the good way of gaining information. So schools and colleges can network, collaborate, and come up with the solution. So you really don't have to pay. So, I'm constantly harping on this point of payment and non-payment is because we are not everybody, we are not addressing to a group of people who I am assuming will be able to invest, because we have to understand the current situation, the background which people come from, the kind of, mindset and the kind of challenges the parents are facing. So, just subscribing students to go and be a part of a career counseling platform is not something which I really want to encourage. I also want to tell you that how best you can utilize these current platforms, which gives you ample knowledge. Like I'll go back to Mindla again. They have a career library. So, in a very minimal cost, they do give you an access to it. So I think school year could play a role where if they can, ask institutions like this, or individual counselors like us to come speak to the students in a huge setup and guide them step by step. Career guidance or career orientation is not preparing for yourself for job only. It is about preparing yourself for life, and that will only happen if you consider all aspects of a person's life and you grow together. So I think whatever information I have given you would really, really help you in giving you a direction. A direction is something which we need. And I can further elaborate on the skills required, because at this point of time, at least one thing which we are sure about is we can prepare ourselves with certain skill sets that will take us in, clearing any kind of a competitive exam or preparation for job.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. So, would request the students to jot down the points as Deepmala ma'am has pointed out, very rightly pointed out. And as she was also talking about the skill sets, I'll just try to put forward my understanding and my thoughts on this. If as Sonali ma'am also talked about the exploring the unconventional career options, so and also setting up career counseling sessions right from the school level, I'll just give you one example. A student might be very good with his artistic skills, paint, maybe good in good in drawing or painting. So the normal things that come to their mind is like joining an art college. But if they actually get to know that if my strength is my painting or drawing skills. If I can find out a professional course wherein this skill, a set of mine, can be utilized in a professional manner, and I can make a career for myself in the long run, wherein I can create a career into graphic designing, which I am not much aware of. Maybe the parents are also not much aware of. I am, me being a student, I'm very good in, I have an interest in art, into painting, into drawing. But when I go and approach my parent and talk about that I want to join an art college, there might be a blocker from the parent that there is no such future. What will you do joining an art college? You will not be getting a job or having a secured career. But then again, if I can approach to a proper career counselor, wherein he or she can guide me through that, yes, if you can capitalize on this skill set of yours by doing a professional course, wherein many colleges are running courses, undergraduate level courses into graphic designing or multimedia and animation. So you can create your career into this line and can work into the top MNCs. For example, PwC, Deloitte, they hire graphic designers with the qualification of undergraduate level graphic designing or animation or multimedia. So that's what my experience that I have been gaining through these 12 years. So talking about the parents, as Deepmala ma'am stated, that parents have to sit with the students to understand what are your interest level. I'll take a cue from this and will put forward question to Sonali ma'am. Ma'am, what is the role of a parent to help his or her child to craft his or her career and take a prudent decision?
Yeah, before this, I just wanted to thank Deepmala for giving such a good guidance to the students, those who are attending this seminar. So, in fact, that's what the expert says. So, taking from that, in fact, yes, parents, they have a big role to play in terms of guidance and support. We can call the parents from different work field who can to speak, to have a speech, or to just talk to the students in the school and talk about their own careers and how they had pursued their career. Parents, again, I should say that they should be guided about their unrealistic aspirations. That is again very important, because a very common issue which we see face in the school is with the subject maths. So suppose a child has not been acquiring good marks in maths in the junior classes, the child still struggles in continuing with maths in higher classes in 11th and 12th. And as he has to take up engineering as a career, so he has to take up maths. So if a child has consistently been getting 50 to 60% marks in the junior classes, suddenly the child cannot get 90% in class 12. So these kind of unrealistic aspirations, we have to guide the parents. Another hindrance which I find is our social status. Sometimes, in our society, the children are not encouraged to work, as we have the mindset that the child should first finish their studies. Maybe the child should become a graduate or a postgraduate, then does the PhD, and then only they should start working. So we need to encourage the students to work in the area of their interest, and whenever they get time, like during summer vacations, during winter vacations, so that they can explore their own careers, which will help them to choose their careers later, as well as they also learn to respect the dignity of labor. So this is again a hindrance which I can see where the parents have a big role to play. More importantly, I should say the parents should have trust in the child. Trust your children, as they have more information than us now, and they are better decision makers also. So parents should, yes, definitely guidance and support is required, but they should not impose their aspirations on the children as far as choice is concerned.
Very true, ma'am. Ma'am, don't you think that before we go ahead conducting career awareness sessions for the students, it is very much important to conduct awareness sessions for the parents?
Yes, definitely.
It is very much important.
We keep doing, in fact, on a personal basis, we keep doing that in the school.
Yes, it is very much required, because what happens, even if the child wants to pursue his or her own interest, the blocker comes from the parents.
Absolutely.
they create the barrier for them to move ahead to with their passions or interests. In that case, awareness session for the parents is very much required. So with this, we have been getting many questions from the students, and before we take up the questions of the students, we would quickly request the IT person of ours to run a short video so that in the meanwhile we can sort the questions that we have been getting from the back end and then come back to you and ask questions to the panelists. I would request Mr. Sunil Rai to run a short video.
If excelling is your essence, then you are welcome to Calcutta Business School. Center of Excellence. Centered on excellence.
It all started in the year 1920 when some eminent industrialists of Kolkata founded the Marwari Balika Vidyalaya. Later, in 1954, Sri Shiksharthan School was founded, and in 1955 Sri Shiksharthan College came into being with the objective of further propagating quality education to girls. All these institutions have continued to excel under the management of the Shiksharthan Foundation.
It has been guided by industrialists like President Mr. S.K. Birla, Director Emeritus, Birla Brothers Private Limited, Mr. Siddharth Birla, Vice President, Mr. G.K. Khaitan, Trustee and President of Shiksharthan College, Mr. R.S. Goenka, Trustee and MD of Imami Group, and many other reputed industrialists. The Secretary General of the Foundation is Mrs. Brotuti Bhattacharya.
Greetings. I would like to speak a few words about our institution, the Shiksharthan Foundation. The year was 1920, when some of my forefathers thought that female education needed to be propagated much more actively than was the custom in those days. And we donated from our family 2 buildings in the heart of Bada Bazaar for the girl child to be educated there. That institution is still working. The latest addition to our bouquet of institutions has been the Calcutta Business School, which was started a few years ago on a 15-acre plot of land and not very far away from IIM Calcutta.
Calcutta Business School offers an AICTE approved, autonomous, 2-year full-time residential program on postgraduate diploma in management, majoring in subjects like finance, marketing, IT, operations and human resource. But it's the unique cluster of courses that sets it apart. Interactive and intuitive games like management game and stock market simulation game. It also puts heavy emphasis on data handling and business analytics and uses databases and software like CMIE Prowess, MetaStock, R, and SAP.
Kolkata is the city of joy. It is the cultural capital of India, a city which has its soulful embodiment of culture, love, mystery, respect and enthusiasm. A city that upholds a perfect juxtaposition between the old world and the modern one. It has given us many Nobel laureates over the years. It has iconic institutes like the Calcutta University, the National Library, Presidency University, Bishwa Bharati, IIM Calcutta, and many such legendary institutes. Calcutta Business School's AICTE approved PGDM program is carrying forward this rich legacy of Kolkata.
Thank you, Mr. Rai. So we have sorted questions that we have got from the back end by the students who are listening out. So I'll not be able to take up questions, so many questions, because we have got many questions, but I'll just take a few questions and would try to address to the queries that we have got from the panelists. So my first question would be to Sonali ma'am. Dia has asked, what exactly can I do in my class 11th and 12th to increase my exposure in a particular subject that can also add to my college CV?
Okay, if this could be more specific, what kind of subject she is asking about?
So that she has not specifically mentioned. So she has mentioned that what can I do in my class 11th and 12th to increase my exposure in a particular subject? So she has.
First, you have to, Dia, yes, this question is relevant in the sense that you have to first understand what is your interest, which is the subject which interests you most, and what you want to pursue with when you go to the next, when you go for your graduation. So that is something which you have to understand, which subject interests you more, and accordingly you have to choose the career. So you have your counselors at school, so you can just speak to your school counselors that if I am taking, say, suppose biology, so what are the career options which I get if I have to go for further studies in biology, and what are the other what are the options which you can opt for, and what are the skills you can develop to carry on and pursue with this subject. So I think that will help in the way that first you have to decide on which subject you want to pursue with. I think it will be helpful.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Next question that we have received from Anvesha. I would put forward this question to Deepmala ma'am. I think she'd be better to answer on this. How can I improve my networking skills, which will help in my near future? Anvesha has asked this question.
Now, this is a very, very forward-thinking question, and I really, I'm very happy to be a part of such a audience who are asking this kind of intelligent question. Yes, networking skill is the key, and I cannot harp more than what I've done in the today's session as to how we have to get the different pillars of the society to come together to address any issue, for this matter of fact. If you specifically ask me about networking skill at this point of time, ideally, if you would have said it would have been a regular situation, I would have asked you to go meet people to understand about different options or different activities. But at this point of time, what I would suggest is there are various social media networking sites. I'll specifically tell you, I'm sure many of you are aware of Facebook, LinkedIn, but since y'all are, I don't know which class I'm addressing to, if y'all are in school, how much accessibility you have or not, but it is a good way of using this to your advantage to be able to create a profile for yourself. Like when we talk about networking, skill is one of the skills, but there are various important skills which you need to work on, which will help you. And I think that is the primary thing which at this point of time, when we are talking about not having clarity, and it will happen only for next couple of years, we'll be very clear as to what are the careers which we can look at, because there are indications of various careers like in healthcare, in as I said, artificial intelligence, coding. So there are many things which can be done in terms of hard skill, but soft skill is something which is going to be with you, which we also call behavioral skills. One of which is, of course, your networking skill, which comes under the head of a self-management skill. So how you interact with people who are relevant and who can help you in discovering yourself better. Right. So networking skill, I would say at this point of time, is like for we adults, I think LinkedIn is playing a very key role. You get to know people from various peers, and it helps us in getting jobs. That is one of the key things now. And it also helps you in knowing about different career options. It helps you to know about different specialists, industry professionals. You can straight away write to them. So, and many of them do respond. So please take this opportunity. I don't know whether you can create a profile at this point of time if you're in class 8, 9, 10, 11, but definitely if you are in college, I'm sure many of them you are in college, please use LinkedIn. It's one of the best platform to directly get access to the right kind of people. So that is there. And beyond that, I also wanted, I didn't mention this, but I want all of you to work on this. Since this is your preparatory stage, after school, when you go to college, now because of your marks, now many of the marks, like especially the ones who passed out last year, like the marks were not, cannot be a criteria for judging your fit to the best subject you want to take. So many colleges emphasized on creating something called a profile. So what they are looking at is in your last 4-5 years, how have you performed in your academics. So your class 8, 9, 10, 11, and even your pre-board exams are taken into consideration to understand how you are as a in your academic performance. Secondly, your participation in extracurricular activities. All school today, I can say this because I work with more than 1,000 schools across the country. Every school gives opportunity for various kind of extracurricular activities. Please make a note of it and do keep your certificates ready. That is going to be helpful. If you talk about the current situation, there are students who have done a lot of courses in Coursera or various course platform. Even for that matter, masterclass in dance, in music, this also plays a pivotal role. People colleges do understand, and they really appreciate if you have this kind of information or certificate with you. Again, social service, you cannot do it physically, I agree, but there are a lot of online platforms by which you can create something new and contribute in terms of bettering the society. So that's again something which colleges look into when they see your profile or when they interview you. So even if the colleges don't require these information together, like there are no colleges who says that we need a profile building. I would say there are many top universities across the globe who emphasizes on profile building. Even in India, colleges like Ashoka, OP Jindal, any of these liberal arts colleges, they will expect you to have a profile. So please build this not only for the college, but to understand yourself better. As I said, it's better to be optimistic. It's better to know yourself better. And these are the ways by which you can actually create a profile, and this will later help you in your interview too, be it in terms of college or job. So people who are doing job, please don't be satisfied by saying, what can we do? There is nothing operational. As Pragya said, there are a lot of questions which you all have got, and I really don't want to disappoint students. So if there is the possibility, you could share those questions with me and Sonali ma'am, and I'm sure we could, I'm sorry, I'm talking on behalf of Sonali ma'am. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to do it because I know her as a person, how helpful she has been. But if you ask me, I'll be happy to give you a proper answer rather than a one-word solution, which I would be able to do now if I continue answering all the questions. But if you want the answers to your question or you have any queries, please feel free. As I said, this is just a beginning of a conversation. I'll be happy to answer your question. And I hope till now I have been able to give you how to do things. I've not attempted to do as much as possible. Before I end this question, I just want to add one more thing. If you really want to understand what to expect from any college, one of the easiest way is, once everything gets normal in next couple of months, you could go and do a campus visit. Go to the campus, meet the professors, see the infrastructure, meet the placement officer, and understand. This will cost you nothing. Secondly, if you want to do some work, there are a lot of summer school, which is prevalent in India. It was not very very prevalent in a couple of years back, but now last 4-5 years I've seen a lot of summer schools and winter school where these colleges, they develop program of a week where you can go and understand the feel of college and what to expect and what are the different subjects and what are the subject correlation. So yes, that is something you can type and you'll get a lot of information on the internet, and do consider summer school too, to get a fair and better understanding of all your questions. Yes, Pragya.
Great, ma'am, great. So we have come totally at the last leg of the today's session. So we'll take up one final question, and obviously the questions that we have not been able to address today, we will share it with the professionals, experts of the panelists who are there, and they would be more than happy to answer to your queries. So one final question to Sonali ma'am. The question is, how to build an ideal professional character to be successful in life?
Okay, so as we have been mentioning that it is a career is actually preparing yourself for the life. So career, you should not be taking career as only as a job opportunity or the job option. It has to be how you're preparing yourself for the life. And here, if you talk about how you can build up your profile, definitely these are the skills which you need to develop from a very small age. So while you're in school, you start developing your confidence, your collaborative skills, your teamwork, your communication skill. These are the things which you need to focus and try and take all the opportunities which comes to you. There are lots of activities which schools are now taking up. So this is for the betterment of the students. So I will always encourage that whatever activities are coming up and you think that you have a talent and you can perform well, whether it's winning is not always the criteria. It is how you participate, how you prepare yourself, and that is how it is going to help you in the long run. So this is how you slowly the skills which are required for building up or making a career, those are the skills you need to focus right from the very beginning, right from now, before. So that is how you're going to, this is going to help you. And even the finishing school, what Shiksha School College has taken up, that those courses are also very important. So you should take up those courses, and that's going to be helpful for you. So that these are the things which will make, to make your own profile better. And also the career choices, or the career, you have to think very carefully what you need to pursue with. If you want to pursue with a particular subject, then you take the subject in class 11 and 12. If you do not think that you have the capability or you have interest in a particular subject, class 11 and 12 is a time when you have to choose, and you have to be very selective and very thoughtful what you need to pursue with. So according to your ability, according to your interest, you have to choose the subjects, and that will help you in the long run. So I hope this helps.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. So it has been really an engaging and a mind-boggling session, I would say, because we talked about digital literacy. We talked about the SWOT analysis to be done by the students. We talked about importance about communication skills, listening skills, how the parents need to be educated and counseled. We spoke about the disruption that has happened across the sectors, and most importantly also the not leaving behind the education sector as well, and the importance of information support system in the educational institutions, wherein career coaches come into the pictures and play a pivotal role to shape up the minds of the students and the parents so that they can take a well-informed decision for their career, to have a proper professional career in the long run and not keeping about the short-term benefit. So and also about the finishing school, yes, which many institutions are taking up to guide the students, wherein they can explore their own skill sets and accordingly understand where they fit in well, and then take a well-informed and prudent decision for themselves. So with this, I would hand over the session to our very dear Madhushri to come with the word of thanks. Over to you, Madhushri.
Okay, so before we close the session, we would like to announce that Calcutta Business School Center for Human Values and Business Ethics is organizing a national level competition to celebrate the 126th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and Republic Day. There would be essay writing, poster making, and quiz competition from 23rd January to 26th January. We request all students to participate. You can visit our website or Facebook page to know more. On behalf of the entire CBS team, I thank everyone watching us today. We shall keep coming up with new endeavors to add value to the education process of students, and please keep updating us with your feedback. I thank our panelists for today, the students and teachers of Akshar School and Aditya Academy Senior Secondary School for their immense support. Thank you, Pragya ma'am, for conducting this session so wonderfully. And thank you, Secretary General ma'am, for always leading the way for us at CBS. With this, we end the session for today. Please send us your feedback. I know, like 1 hour is very less to resolve all queries and issues. So please write to us. We'll forward it to the proper persons and they will resolve your queries. And you can follow us with these webinars. The next webinar coming up is on design thinking, which will be on 25th January, and it will have 4 eminent school leaders and expert faculty. Okay, so join us next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.